The first thing that unsettled me was the sound of my phone vibrating at 2:47 a.m. I had been turning restlessly on my bed, trying to force myself to sleep, when the alert tone cut through the silence of my room. At first, I thought it was one of those midnight debit alerts from the bank for service charges. But when I picked up my phone and opened the message, my heart almost stopped beating. Credit alert of 5 million naira. From David Thompson. David Thompson was my fiancé, who was buried just 4 days ago. David, who I saw lying cold and lifeless inside a casket lowered into the red soil of a cemetery. I sat up immediately, my hand shaking as I held the phone. I read the message again and again. But the name didn't change. The figure didn't change. 5 million naira, sent from the account of a man who was no longer alive. Let me take you back. David and I had been together for almost 5 years. He was kind, hardworking, and very careful with money. He worked with an oil servicing company in Port Harcourt, and I always teased him that he loved his Excel spreadsheets more than he loved me. He would laugh and say, "One day, this habit will save us." We were supposed to get married in November. The wedding dress had already been bought, the hall was booked, and even our friends had chosen their outfits. But life had other plans. One rainy evening, David was driving back from a meeting in Warri. The expressway was wet, visibility was poor, and a tanker lost control. David's car was crushed. He didn't survive it. Just like that, my dreams collapsed. The days after his death felt unreal. People were trooping to the house to mourn with us. His family, who had always loved me, clung to me like I was now the only piece of David they had left. I cried until my eyes were swollen, and even when I thought there were no more tears left in me, they would come again. That night when the credit alert came, I could not breathe properly. My first thought was that maybe it was some kind of mistake. Maybe the bank system mixed up names. Or maybe it was some kind of fraud. But as I stared at the message, my chest tightened. David had once mentioned he was saving up something for the future. I never pressed him to explain. He just smiled and said, "You know when the time comes." Could this be it? Did he schedule this transfer before he died? Or was this something else entirely? I didn't sleep that night. I just sat on the bed, phone in hand, shaking. By morning, my mother noticed my swollen eyes and asked why I hadn't slept. I didn't want to tell her immediately, but I knew I couldn't keep it to myself. So I showed her the alert. She gasped. 5 million. From David. But how? I shrugged, still confused. "Mommy, I don't understand. He's gone. How can he send money?" She touched her chest and shook her head slowly. "My daughter, some things are beyond us." But I didn't want mystery. I wanted answers. Later that day, I dressed up and went straight to the bank. The security man at the gate knew me. David had once introduced me to the branch manager there, so I was not a stranger. Inside, I explained everything to the customer service officer. At first, she gave me the usual official smile, but when she saw the name of the sender and the amount, she frowned and excused herself. She went into an office and came back with the branch manager, Mr. Johnson. He asked me to sit. "Miss Grace," he said carefully, "this transfer was indeed authorized by Mr. David Thompson." But it was a scheduled transfer. My heart skipped. Scheduled. Yes. According to our records, he set it up 3 weeks before his death. The system was set to release the money to your account on this date. He must have done it deliberately. I couldn't believe it. David had planned this. The manager added, "Everything is legal. This money belongs to you." But I must say, it's not common to see such things. You are a very lucky woman. Lucky. That word tasted bitter in my mouth. How could I be lucky when the man who loved me enough to leave me 5 million was no longer alive to share the future with me? When I got home, I told my mother again, and she almost danced. "Grace, this is God's way of showing you David still loves you, even from the grave. Use this money wisely." But not everyone reacted the same. When David's elder brother, Michael, heard about the transfer, he came to our house that same evening. He was angry. "That money belongs to the family," he said, standing in our living room with his arms crossed. David was our blood. If he left money behind, we deserved to share in it. I looked him straight in the eyes and said, "He didn't leave it for the family. He left it for me." He made it clear. Michael didn't like my answer. He muttered something about taking the matter to court, but my mother stood firmly beside me. "If your brother wanted you to have the money, he would have sent it to you," she told him. "He sent it to Grace. Respect his decision." At first, I couldn't even touch the money. Each time I opened my bank app and saw the balance, tears filled my eyes. To me, it wasn't just money. It was David's last words to me. His last act of love. His last way of saying, "Even though I'm not here, I still care." Sometimes, I sat and wondered how he knew. Did he have a feeling he wouldn't live long? Why did he schedule it? Why didn't he tell me directly? Those questions haunted me, and I knew I might never get the answers. 2 months passed. People expected me to move on quickly because of the money. Some whispered that I was lucky to cash out from the death. Others envied me silently. But deep inside, I was still broken. I decided I couldn't just waste David's sacrifice. One Saturday, I took part of the money and visited a small orphanage home in town. I bought cartons of tissue, soap, food items, and other basic supplies for the children. The moment I saw their smiles and the way they rushed to hug me, something in my heart melted. It didn't erase the pain, but it gave me a kind of peace. It felt like I was keeping David's memory alive in a way that mattered, by spreading kindness the way he would have wanted. Sometimes, late at night, I still hear the sound of that alert tone in my head. That sharp ping that woke me up and changed everything. I've come to realize something: love doesn't always end at the grave. Sometimes, it finds a way to speak even after death. For me, that 5 million wasn't just money. It was David's voice, whispering one last time. "Grace, you'll be fine. Even without me, you'll be fine." And each day I wake up, I try to live in a way that proves him right.